A symphony of ruin. I hadn't wanted to believe it. The signs were there, all glaring and red as warnings on a dangerous road. But I had ignored them, blinded by loyalty and love. Love, I thought bitterly now, was like walking into a field of roses. Beautiful and intoxicating at first glance, but always laden with thorns eager to pierce your skin. The heartbreak didn't come all at once. It bled into my life slowly, like poison in a river. I sat in our dimly lit apartment, the smell of her perfume lingering in the air. As I read the text message for the 11th time, my chest hollowed further with each pass. We can't keep doing this. She's going to find out eventually. And I don't want to ruin your life. The message wasn't meant for me. It was meant for him. Daniel, my partner of 3 years. The man I thought I would marry one day. Those words confirmed my darkest, most persistent fears. Daniel was cheating on me. Not just with anyone, but with his coworker, Elena, the doe-eyed marketing manager from his office who had always acted too familiar around him. At first, I dismissed her lingering glances and overly enthusiastic laughter at his jokes as superficial and harmless. Now I saw her for what she truly was. A siren luring him away from home and into her clutches. When I found the text on his phone late Friday night, it felt like my lungs had collapsed. The room swirled and tilted as my heart shattered into countless, jagged pieces. I hadn't even meant to snoop. I was looking for my charger and stumbled upon his phone lit up on the nightstand. He hadn't even bothered to delete the messages. He hadn't even cared to cover his tracks. The betrayal was a blade to my chest, twisting deeper with every second. I waited for him to return home that night, my mind spiraling between devastation and rage. When he finally walked through the door, smiling tiredly as he shrugged off his jacket and set his briefcase by the couch, I felt like I was staring at a stranger. I couldn't confront him. Not yet. Confrontation would be too messy, too loud, too emotional. No, he didn't deserve the luxury of my tears, my sobs, my pleas for an explanation. Instead, I decided I needed time to plan the perfect revenge. Time to make him feel the way I did. Worthless, foolish, devastated. Time to destroy him as thoroughly as he had destroyed me. The next week, I played the part of the loving girlfriend to perfection. I smiled when he kissed me, laughed at his half-hearted jokes, and even cooked his favorite lasagna on Wednesday night. He never suspected a thing, because he didn't care enough to notice the subtle changes in me. The stiffness of my posture when he wrapped his arms around me. The way my voice quivered when I told him I loved him. His ignorance was a gift. It gave me time to craft my revenge without interference. I spent hours that week combing through his emails, texts, and calendar, documenting everything, every flirtatious exchange between him and Elena, every working late excuse he had used to sneak off to dinner with her. I screenshotted the most damning texts. Ones where he referred to her as my muse, ones where they joked about sneaking off during office hours, and, worst of all, ones where he detailed everything he hated about me. She's too needy sometimes, one text read. Always questioning me. I just want someone who can let me breathe. You know? Quote, it felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. Needy? Was that what he thought of me? After everything I'd given him? Everything I'd sacrificed for him? My plan evolved in those moments. What had started as an urge for private revenge blossomed into something much bigger, much darker. Daniel had cheated on me, broken my trust, and insulted my worth. It was time the world saw him for the fraud he truly was. Thursday evening was when I struck. Daniel had been invited to a networking gala hosted by his company. A swanky affair at the city's most elegant hotel. He told me he wanted me to come along, likely to keep up appearances, Or perhaps to make himself feel less guilty. I agreed enthusiastically, hiding the storm brewing inside me. By then, I had everything I needed. Every text, email, calendar invite, and incriminating photograph had been carefully saved and uploaded to cloud storage. I even had a video. A brief, grainy snippet of him and Elena in what appeared to be the back seat of a car, kissing as though their lives depended on it. Before we left, I slipped a USB drive into my purse. On it was a carefully compiled folder titled The Truth. The venue for the gala was breathtaking. Pristine marble floors, grand crystal chandeliers, and massive windows overlooking the glittering city skyline. Waiters moved gracefully through the room carrying trays of champagne, their uniforms crisp and spotless. Laughter and chatter echoed through the space, mingling with the soft strains of a string quartet in the corner. Daniel looked dashing in his tailored navy suit. His arm looped through mine as he greeted his coworkers and clients with a charming smile. Elena was there, of course, dressed in a sultry red gown that clung to her figure. The moment her eyes landed on me, I saw a flicker of tension pass through her expression. Good, I thought darkly. She should be nervous. Her betrayal was about to come crashing down around her as well. Around 9 o'clock, as guests sipped wine and nibbled on hors d'oeuvres, the MC announced that the company's new promotional video would be showcased on the ballroom's sprawling projector screen. It was a long-awaited campaign Daniel had spearheaded, one that his managers had praised as innovative and transformative. The crowd offered polite applause as Daniel stood near the projector, clearly proud of his work. I slipped away, unnoticed, and approached the young technician operating the projector. He stood behind a sleek table filled with laptops, wires, and media consoles, his attention focused on the screen set up ahead. "Hi," I said sweetly, offering him a polite smile. "My name's Sophia. I'm with Daniel's team. There's been a slight mix-up with the video files. Could you play this one instead? It's urgent." The technician frowned but nodded. Taking the USB I handed him. "Sure, just let me check it real quick." I held my breath as he plugged it in, scanning the folder briefly before nodding. "Looks good. I'll play this now." I walked away, my pulse roaring in my ears. Daniel hadn't noticed me yet. He was chatting with a group of clients near the bar, leaning casually against the counter with a drink in hand. But everything was about to change. The chatter in the room dwindled as the lights dimmed and the projector hummed to life. At first, there was a moment of confusion. The video didn't begin with upbeat music or sleek graphics as the promotional campaign had intended. Instead, it started with a snapshot of a text message. One of Daniel's messages to Elena. "You were incredible last night," the text read. "I can't stop thinking about you." Gasps filled the room. The text faded, replaced by another screenshot. A photo of Daniel and Elena walking out of a restaurant late at night, his hand grazing her lower back. Then came the video clip. The incriminating footage of their passionate kiss in the car. By then, murmurs had escalated into sharp whispers, and all eyes were on Daniel. I turned to see him frozen near the bar, his drink sloshing onto the counter as his grip faltered. Elena stood across the room, her face pale and horrified as her coworkers stared at her. The footage ended, replaced by a black screen with bold white letters. "Betrayal isn't innovative. It isn't transformative, but it should be exposed." The room erupted into chaos. Someone gestured angrily toward Daniel. Others whispered furiously among themselves. I watched him stumble through an attempt at denial, his words fumbling and incoherent. This is ridiculous," he shouted, his voice cracking. "Someone. It's fake. It's," quote, but the evidence was undeniable, laid bare for everyone to see. Managers whispered among themselves, shaking their heads in disgust. while coworkers refused to meet his eyes. Elena tried to slink away discreetly, but the MC intercepted her with a cold glare and sharp words. I didn't stay to watch the aftermath unfold completely. I didn't need to. The looks of horror and shame on Daniel's and Elena's faces were enough satisfaction for me. I slipped out of the ballroom and into the crisp night air, my heart pounding with adrenaline. For the first time in days, I felt alive. The fallout was swift and devastating. Elena was fired within 24 hours. Her involvement with Daniel violated company policies, and the scandal had tarnished her reputation beyond repair. Daniel wasn't fired outright, but he might as well have been. Clients had withdrawn their partnerships. Managers had revoked their support, and coworkers treated him like a leper. A week later, he quit for personal reasons. As for me, I disappeared from his life completely. I packed my things while he was at work the following Monday, leaving behind nothing but the apartment key and the silent void of my absence. I ignored his calls and texts, his frantic attempts to explain and apologize, and any lingering trace of guilt I felt for him. He didn't deserve my forgiveness. It wasn't easy moving forward, but it was worth it. I finally had clarity, a grim but necessary truth about the man I had loved and the strength I hadn't known I possessed. In the end, revenge wasn't about destruction. It was about reclamation of my dignity, my self-worth, and my freedom. It was about reminding the world, and myself, that betrayal might break a person, but it would never define them. Daniel's ruin was just a consequence. My revenge was the symphony, and I was finally the conductor. A symphony of ruin. Extended. The week after the gala was one of transformation. For me and for Daniel. Waking up in a new apartment, surrounded by cardboard boxes and a plain beige sofa I'd purchased on a whim, felt surreal. I could still hear the echoes of my heartbeat from that night. The crescendo of chaos I had orchestrated so carefully. Each morning, I found myself replaying the moment when the projector screen flickered to life, and the two lives that had betrayed me were laid bare for everyone to see. It was satisfying, yes, but it was also lonely in ways I hadn't anticipated. Revenge wasn't perfect. It healed some wounds but left behind scars. My freedom felt fragile, like newly sprouted grass, green but still vulnerable to the weight of footsteps. But I couldn't allow myself to wallow. I had chosen this path, and in choosing it, I decided to move forward without looking back. Still, the memories lingered. The morning after the gala, Daniel must have realized that I was gone. I imagined the scene vividly. Him coming home to our shared apartment, finding my drawer empty and the bathroom devoid of my toothbrush and creams in my hurry to leave. I hadn't taken everything. The framed photo of us at his brother's wedding remained on the bookshelf. The blanket we both loved was folded neatly on the couch. But those were intentional omissions. A reminder of what he'd lost, of what he had broken beyond repair. I didn't answer his texts that day. The first came in at 8:07 a.m., then another at 9:25, and 4 more by noon. My phone buzzed incessantly, his name lighting up the screen like some cruel joke. I watched the messages pile up, each one more frantic than the last. Greater than, Sophia, where are you? Please answer me. What happened? Quote, greater than, we need to talk. I don't understand why you're doing this. Greater than, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Okay? Can we just talk about this? I love you. Love. The word stung like vinegar on an open wound. It was hollow now, devoid of all meaning when spoken by him. He'd loved Elena, hadn't he? He'd called her his muse, praised her in ways he hadn't praised me in months, if ever. Each time he said he loved me now, all I could see was the grainy video of their kiss. By the 5th message, he was growing desperate, Greater than, Sophia. Please. Let me explain. You're blowing this out of proportion. I didn't mean for it to happen. She means nothing to me. I didn't respond. How could I? What was there to explain? His actions had spoken louder than any words ever could. And then there was the other part. She means nothing to me. That single sentence made me angrier than anything else. If she meant nothing, then why had he destroyed everything for her? Why had he let my love crumble into dust? Pieces scattered across our shared life? I spent the next few days settling into my new routine. Working, unpacking, grieving in silence. My apartment was a small one-bedroom on the quieter side of the city. Minimalist in style, with clean white walls and wide windows that let in streams of light. At night, however, the shadows stretched long and deep, and my loneliness crept into every corner. The air smelled faintly of fresh paint, and the faint hum of traffic outside was a constant reminder that life was moving forward. Even if I felt stuck, still, I found solace in reclaiming my space. The living room now bore traces of me. Vanilla candles on the coffee table, a soft green throw over the sofa, a stack of novels I'd never had time to read with Daniel. I was piecing myself back together, one small decoration at a time. And yet, the texts and calls didn't stop. Please answer me, Sophia. Please. You're hurting me. Hurting him? The audacity of those words was laughable. Did he think of the hurt he caused me when he kissed Elena? Or when he sent her messages while we lay in bed at night? Did he think about the pain that would ripple through me as I discovered the truth? No, he didn't. He had hurt me to satisfy his own desires. And now he dared to blame me for the consequences. Each text only strengthened my resolve. By Friday, the fallout from the gala had spilled into every aspect of Daniel's life. A mutual friend, Julia, who worked with him, filled me in during a phone call. Julia wasn't close to Daniel, and she had always had a soft spot for me, so her sympathy was genuine. You wouldn't believe it, Sophia, she said, her voice tinged with disbelief. Everyone's talking about it. The managers are furious, especially since some of the company's major clients pulled their contracts. This scandal, it's everywhere. I sank into my bed, clutching my phone tightly. What happened to him? And Elena? Quote, Elena's gone, Julia said bluntly. They fired her the next day. No hesitation, apparently. She tried to justify it by saying their relationship didn't interfere with work. But honestly, no one bought it. As for Daniel, well, he's done too. He hasn't officially been fired, but he's been iced out. I exhaled slowly, letting her words wash over me. I could picture it. Daniel roaming the halls of his once beloved office. The weight of judgment pressing down like lead on his shoulders. People whispering in the break room, refusing to meet his eyes. His carefully crafted image as the rising star of the company, shattered beyond repair. He quit this morning, Julia added, her voice dropping. They didn't have to fire him. He was practically forced out. He told Our it was for personal reasons. But everyone knows the truth. The satisfaction should have felt sweeter. Yet it came with an unsettling emptiness. Revenge had been my goal, and I had achieved it. But now I had to reckon with the quiet aftermath. While Daniel faced public humiliation, I faced nights alone and a future rebuilt from scratch. Was this what victory felt like? A strange mix of triumph and melancholy? Daniel showed up at my new apartment on Saturday evening. I had feared this might happen, but the sight of him standing outside my door still sent my stomach into knots. He looked nothing like the confident, polished man I had loved. His suit was rumpled, his tie absent, and there were dark circles etched beneath his eyes. Even his posture seemed broken. Shoulders slumped forward as though carrying the weight of the world. I opened the door just enough to face him but kept the chain latch in place. "What are you doing here?" Quote. He flinched at my tone but didn't answer right away. His voice, when it came, was strained and hoarse. "Sophia, please. I need to talk to you." His desperation was palpable, and for a fleeting moment, I almost pitied him. Almost. "There's nothing to talk about," I said coldly. "You made your choices, Daniel, and now you're dealing with the consequences. I didn't mean to hurt you." His voice broke, and his hands curled into fists at his sides. It all got out of hand. It wasn't supposed to happen this way. Elena meant nothing to me. She was just a mistake. I shook my head, bitterness rising in my throat. A mistake? You don't accidentally cheat on someone, Daniel. You don't accidentally lie to them night after night, texting someone else while they're sleeping next to you. You don't accidentally destroy someone's trust. He reached for the door, gripping the edge as if bracing himself against some invisible force. "I love you, Sophia. Can't we fix this? Can't we try again?" Quote. I stared at him, and for the first time since discovering the texts, I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, no longing for what had been. Just an overwhelming clarity. "No," I said with finality. "We can't. What you broke can't be mended. You threw away what we had, and now there's nothing left to save." His face crumpled, and for a brief second, I saw the boyish vulnerability I'd fallen in love with years ago. But I refused to let it sway me. "I'm done, Daniel," I said softly. "Goodbye." I shut the door and locked it, the sound of the deadbolt clicking into place echoing like a punctuation mark. Daniel didn't knock again, didn't shout or plead. I heard his footsteps retreat down the hall, slow and defeated. Months later, I stood on the balcony of my apartment, watching the sunset paint the sky in soft hues of purple and gold. Life hadn't returned to normal. It had blossomed into something entirely new. I had enrolled in a photography class, something I'd always wanted to do but never had time for. I reconnected with old friends, spent lazy Sundays reading novels, and even adopted a scruffy black cat named Luna, who now napped lazily on the balcony railing. Daniel had become little more than a distant memory, a shadow in the corner of my mind that I no longer feared. His name occasionally surfaced in gossip circles, but it didn't matter to me anymore. I had reclaimed myself, my joy, my independence. Revenge had been my instrument of liberation, but it wasn't the symphony itself. That was mine to compose. Standing there, bathed in the warmth of fading sunlight, I closed my eyes and breathed deeply. The air smelled of blooming jasmine, and the city hummed with vitality below. And for the first time in what felt like years, I was at peace.